Okay, so last time we did Mishlei 6 through 11, which will review the facts and review what we did last time, and then see where that takes us. Okay, so we have late el namal atel re'ei derecha havachacham. Go to the ant, you lazy person. See its ways and grow wise. Oh, I said this to somebody on Shabbos that I think I did that, but I didn't say it on here. That the only place where the term atel appears in Tanakh is Mishlei. I said it to you, yeah.
Huh.
So that's interesting.
That is.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if it means that Shlomo coined it. I think there is one other place where it's used as a verb, but I forgot where it is. But it is interesting that if he didn't coin it, he definitely, like if he didn't coin the shoresh, he definitely coined the term as one of his full terms that he invented.
Right.
So that's an interesting thing.
And all the other ones, like besides, let's say like okay, besides the Tehillim, like do any of the other ones appear?
Any of the other full terms?
Wait.
Yeah, they do, but I feel like Evil might be another term that actually I'm not sure. We'll have to do a search at some point. Yeah. Share. So go to see its ways and grow wise. Asher ein lach katin v'shoter moshel, that it has neither a ruler, manager, supervisor, whatever you want to say those three things are. Hakin b'kait lachma agara v'katzir machalav. So she prepares in the summer her bread, her food, and gathers in the harvest season her food. Ad masai. So that's what we did last time. Let's actually stop there and review what we did last time, right? So we said, yeah, what did we say? Well, there's two elements here. One is what's the idea, and the other is why does he convey it this way? Like, what's the idea of like going to the ant to look at its ways, especially given the fact that like, we said he's not saying that we should emulate the ant in all of its ways. So like, why is he phrased it this way? And he could just like cut out the muscle and just like tell us, yeah.
So I'm going to second question, which is
answer. Yeah.
So by comparing it to by comparing the asshole to a lowly person, I'm saying like you're worse than this low thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not lowly person. Not even that person.
Yeah.
Like you have puny ant.
Yeah.
Is like better than you.
Right.
And then like
yeah. And it's irrationally hitting the ego, but it is hitting the ego.
Yeah.
Right. Because when you compare it, so the examples that the Meiri brought were from other areas in Tanakh, where like we compare Klal Yisrael, we say that even the most far off primitive people don't give up their God for a non-God, and like you Jews have been doing that. And then the Bnei Yonadav thing of like he just tells his sons not to drink wine, and they don't drink wine, and yet God sends all these Nevi'im to you, and you don't do it. So there, it's understandable that like these people who are not as developed as you in terms of their mind, even they are capable of this, and you're not. You should be more capable. But with the ants, so with the people example, it's rational in a certain sense that like you're better than this. With an ant, it's metaphorical, but it hits you emotionally in the same way. Right. And then I think the other point he made, anyone want to remember the other point he made? Had to do with the.
We didn't want to remember.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking in Hebrew. Like Zecher, as a short means to remember or to like verbally recollect. Anyone want to recollect? Yeah. I mean, I think we said it very quickly at the end, which was that the Meiri points out that the ant doesn't have a seichel, but it is just naturally programmed to prepare its food. So you human are also naturally like designed to like be able to take care of your own needs, but you're perverting the natural tendency, So and so that is why the ant. That's another reason the ant is used, because it doesn't have a seichel, and like so it's all instinct. And with human beings, we have instinct and we have a seichel, which is even more powerful. But and our instincts are primed for survival. Yet when we give into laziness, we're jeopardizing our own survival. So it's like going against our own survival instincts. Yeah. Okay. So let's go on. So let's read the other pesukim, which we didn't do last time. Yeah.
Is it the fact that we're going against the survival instinct?
Oh, good question.
The like use the intellect?
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Yeah. Good question. Let's read it again in the Meiri to see what he says. I mean, we can think about our own, but it's the second line on the left column, or I guess the first line. לפעמים על זה הצד יראה להם דוגמה משאר בעלי חיים שאין להם שכל, ובטבע מונח נמצא להם דרך ישר במה שהנוכחים יאבסוהו. So nature is implanted in them that gives them a straight path, which the audience has perverted. Could that be read both ways?
Yeah. It could be the same instinct that we have.
Right.
We're just perverting it.
Right. So that would be the survival instinct way. And then it could be that our natural Derech Nistar is from the Seifon, we're perverting that.
Right.
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think both are true. Just question if are we
What's Meiri?
yeah, was Meiri saying and what Shlomo saying? Is there a way to get that from there?
Well, yeah, I think Meiri. It sounds more like he's saying survival instinct.
Yeah.
Just because we are perverting that which the ant has.
Yeah.
Is it perverting?
He gives that other example from Mishlei afterwards also. That even an ox knows its owner, but the Jews don't know Hashem.
Right.
You know, that sounds like there's a natural instinct. And I think if you look at the part from there, it's like an ox knows its master because its master is the one who feeds it. You know, it's like it's going to keep on going back to the guy who's feeding it. Jews have been given Eretz Yisrael and taken out of Mitzrayim and given all this benefit and success, and they're not naturally recognizing God. So that sounds like a perversion of like the natural. I mean, you can read that both ways also, but like, yeah.
Right, and I think, and you can we are meant to use our instincts to keep to keep us alive.
Right.
But it's not. That's not what we're perverting exactly.
Right.
Our minds are not. Well, it sort of is.
Well, it's perverting in the sense that it's being disconnected from the mind. Really should help us to achieve what the instincts want, but in an even greater way.
Right.
You know, yeah. Oh, hold on just 1 second here. Just pause this. Yeah. Okay, so should we go on and see if those next pesukim shed light on this question, and then to see what the ideas are on the next pesukim. So the pesukim, so test Yud and Yud Aleph. Until when, you lazy person, will you lie down? When will you get up from your sleep? A little bit of sleep, a little bit of slumber, a little bit of folding the hands to recline. And your poverty will come like a traveler, and your lack like an armed man. So that I said last time was like the lazy part of you thinks that it can just take a little nap, you know, and like sleep and all this other stuff. But the lazy part of you is only affected by immediate pain. And so Shlomo is speaking to it in terms that it cares about, saying like, one day you're going to wake up and you're just not going to have food, you know? So that's like the best hope you can have of like scaring it based on something it can recognize. You're not going to say, oh, like a year from now, you're not going to, you know, like you might not have crops. Like you have to say like, it could show up at your door, you know?
Is that true? That it could happen anymore?
No, but it feels like it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's gonna like sleep a little bit more, sleep a little more, and then suddenly the harvest is and there's no crops.
Right.
Right. The spelled out example of this is is in the first paragraph of Mishlei, where he says, so how long, O simpletons, will you love folly? Scoffers covet mockery of themselves and fools hate knowledge. Return to my reproof. Behold, I will express my spirit to you. I will make my words known to you. This is in 122. But because I have called you and you refused, because I stretched forth my hand and no one listened, and you rejected my every counsel and desired not my reproof, I too will laugh at your misfortune and mock when your dread arrives. When your fear arrives as sudden darkness and misfortune comes like a storm, when affliction and oppression come upon you, then they will call me, but I will not answer. They will search for me, but they will not find me. Because they hated knowledge and did not choose fear of Hashem, they did not desire my counsel, they spurned on my reproof. They will eat the fruit of their way and will be sated with their own schemes. For the tranquility of the simpletons will kill them, and the contentment of the fools will destroy them. But he who listens to me will dwell securely and be undisturbed by fear of evil. So it's like chochmah telling them that like, oh, that was chochmah talking, by the way. It's chochmah telling them like, I'm calling out to you this whole time and you're just ignoring it. So finally, like when the stuff happens, it's going to appear that it came out of nowhere, and you're going to call out for me, but it's like too late. You know, it's that timelessness of the laziness that we said before, that he feels like he could just like reality will operate on his schedule, not the other way around, So it'll appear like, again, it's like the kid who wakes up the day of the test and realizes that, oh, like I didn't study and like this has a huge impact, So it's not actually sudden, but it's perceived as it came out of nowhere, deadline came up. Yeah. Okay. So, so the question is, what's the connection between the ant and this? Or is like, I mean, or is there a connection? I mean, the Meiri is connecting it because it's all about laziness, but are these two separate ideas? Because yeah.
Also, I know we asked this on the ant muscle, but this one seems even more like it wouldn't work if you knew that. It's like that it just feels like that, but it's not actually true.
Right.
It feels like that kind of beats the
So here's for the wait, are you talking about the
yeah,
the ant thing? You're saying it still does work even though it doesn't apply?
Yeah, I could see how that could work, I guess. Just
yeah.
But the second one seems like it wouldn't.
Right. So I think the way that the second one could work, I think if you have never experienced this, then it's not going to really work because you could just deflect it. But if you have, there's a Calvin and Hobbes cartoon where like they're playing in like a sandbox or whatever, and like Hobbes says like, don't you have that like paper that you have to write? And Calvin says, I need to be in the right mood. And Hobbes says, what mood is that? And he says, last minute panic. And so, ooh, ouch, I got cut. Did it actually puncture the skin? No, got scratched. There's a metal guard on the bottom of this chair. So if you have experienced last minute panic and you can activate that part, and put yourself in that mentality, in vis-a-vis a new particular, so then that could jumpstart you, but I think if you haven't had the experience, it won't work. And even if you've had the experience, like there's still plenty of ways like you can like minimize it or downplay it through rationalization and stuff. But like if you really have you ever had the experience? This is a good example of this. Have you ever had the experience of like waking up one morning and then realizing that a certain homework assignment is due, and like you frantically like do it, and then you submit it, or you bring it to class and then you realize it's not due until the next day,
Right.
And then that kind of helps you realize, oh, I can have this experience of the last minute panic when it's not really the case. And I really should have had that experience earlier to like kick me into like doing it, Yeah. So if anything, I think this actually works better than the ant thing, because the ant thing is a purely senseless ego, like a purely irrational ego thing. Like even this ant does this and you can't do it. And like, it's banking on like the fact that you'll be, your ego will be wounded by being compared to an ant, which I think, I don't know. Like, I feel like the human example he gave that works better, but this one I think can work because it's within the framework of human experience entirely. And I think also there's one part that we didn't really talk about, which is, what do you think the idea is of the ma'at, shenos, ma'at, tenuos, ma'at, yadayim, lifkav? Or the ad masai part. I mean, I think I don't know if those are two separate ideas or one.
Like you think that you're just gonna like, it's like a series of little naps.
Yeah.
And like it adds up. But each one in particular you can rationalize.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's what it is. So I think test the ad masai thing. I think this is actually a good way of recognizing your time, the timeless rationalization of the laziness, which is that because the laziness comes from a part of you that is outside of time, which interestingly, as I say that's like another example of how you think that you're God, like how your Yitar thinks it's God, because only God is actually outside of time, but like this part of you feels like it's outside of time. But what I was going to say is that like, if there are no, if there's no limiting of the nap or the sleep, that's an indication that it's not being determined by practicality, but it's being determined by something else. It's kind of like people who want to be rich, but they don't actually figure out how much money does that entail. They just want to be rich. It's this unbounded thing. Whenever you have unbounded ambitions or desires, then like it's indicative that it's coming from a fantasy and it's not rooted in any practicality. So here it's like I'm going to sleep. Well, how long are you going to sleep? Like if you tell yourself, oh, I need to take a nap, that might be fine. It might be that you need to take a nap. But if you don't say like, I need to take a half an hour nap, or I'm gonna, either because that's how much my body needs, or that's how long I can afford to take a nap before it starts impinging on my productivity or something like that. Like if you're not if you're not pinning it down to specifics, then that's an indication that you're just indulging in this timeless lazy part. Another example of like people who, like I always, when I gave my study skills class in Shalhevet, and like, I was a big advocate of there's like two approaches that people have to like study for finals or midterms. There's like the marathon approach where you just study for hours on end, and then there's the short and efficient bursts of productivity with frequent breaks. And I'm a big fan of the second one. And so like, a problem that students would often have is like they'll take a break, watch a YouTube video, and before they know it, it's 3 a.m. And like unless you say, okay, I will watch, unless you quantify it, either in terms of I will watch 2 YouTube videos, or I will watch YouTube videos for 15 minutes and then set an alarm and then stop, then that timeless part of you would just take over, So I think that's like what he's addressing with his ad masai. Like, you need to be able to tell me how long are you going to indulge in the sleep. Sleeping is fine, but not if you can't tell me how long it's going to be, And then the yud is, I think, what you were saying, which is that you can justify each one, and that's like the tone that you get from this, like, oh, just a little bit,
Right.
But then it adds up, and it also, I think, I don't know if someone says this in the Mefarshim or if like this is just what I'm getting, that this is in reverse order, I think. I don't know why it's in reverse order, but Shena is like sleep, Pneuma is light sleep, and Tibuk Yadayim is just resting, So I don't know why it's in reverse order, but like I can see it making more sense in the other order, which leads me to think that the reverse order has some idea here. Like that happens sometimes. Is like you like just like rest with your eyes closed.
I think just the thing is, person's like, I'm just gonna sleep a little, and they're like, he's into it. I was like, I'm just gonna take like a quick nap.
Power nap, yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna go like.
Yeah. Right.
Actually happened to me this job. It's the reverse way.
Yeah.
Where I was I sat on the lawn.
Yeah.
Like, with a whatever, and I was like gonna do some IFS.
Yeah.
But then I like sort of just like was like, okay, like whatever, I'm just gonna sit and think and close my eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
And then like I just fell asleep.
Yeah. Yep. That happens.
Yeah. I think this is the order of like justification, but excessive layers of justification.
Yeah.
He's like, he's not saying I'm gonna sleep for 12 hours.
Right.
He's like I'm just gonna sleep a little bit.
Right.
And it's like, oh, dude, you shouldn't do that. Then it's like, okay, I'm gonna take take a nap.
Yeah.
And I think it's retreating levels of justification.
Right, and I think that that's the connection between the two experiences. It's the Mishlei irony that you convince yourself that you're not going to do the severe version, you're just going to do the light version, but then the light version ends up like leading to the severe version because you don't realize. I mean, again, that's the Kaki Darko Shal Yitzhahara, the whole thing that do a little bit today, do a little bit tomorrow, or like give into this today, give into this tomorrow, and like next day you're working with Vodazara. Is that like there is such a thing as a slippery slope fallacy, but this is a slippery slope reality. Like your emotions can convince you to take these small steps and cut these small corners and make these small compromises until like you've lost all semblance of how far you've gone, how far off you've gone.
Right.
Yeah. I think there's another thing about tests is that one thing I think that another thing that's doing is like Altel is doing he might do like a lot of little sleeps, and each one he can justify, and none of them are problematic on their own.
Yeah.
But it's stringing them together. It's like it's not just you didn't take 3 20-minute naps. You slept for an hour.
Right.
So. Or
yeah,
or longer.
Yeah.
You didn't take 3 1-hour naps until you slept the morning away.
Right. Right.
So it's putting it all together into one.
Right. This is what you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's look at. Yeah. It's not ma'at. It's not 3 ma'ats.
Yeah.
Right. It's a harbe. Yeah. All right. Let's look at the Meiri on tests. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Ad masai atel tishkav. Ad masai te'ahav menucha. How long will you left on? How long will you love rest?
That was just the end.
Oh yeah. Umatai takum mishnasecha, and when will you get up from your sleep? But mishenas atzlusecha, from your lazy sleep. See, that's the key here. It's not regular sleep. Like it's the sleep that comes from indulging in the laziness, or that's the way to indulge in the laziness. V'amar ma'at tenot ma'at tenumot v'yirli shehu k'minyan hatzivuim habilti mechubanim la'achos hadavar. More vindication for my method. Mishlei giving you false advice, right? That it's one of the tzivuyim that is not intended to make you do the thing. Okay. Really, it's telling you to refrain from it. Rejoice, youth, young person in your youth, right? That's like, I mean, that's one of the pesukim that is whether he's actually telling you to be sameach b'chelko or whether he's telling you to indulge in your taivas, you know? So he's saying, he's learning it as it's saying indulge in your taivas, but it's like a rhetorical maneuver saying like, yeah, go ahead, just indulge in your taivas, you know, but he's really telling you not to, you know?
Indulge in your taivas, like, see where it gets.
Yeah, exactly. Klomar, yeah, that's exactly what it says. If you pick up yourself, see what happens to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine the expression probably comes from Koheles.
So I had to look this up this morning because I was sure how to translate the safu there. It was 21. Thank you. Add your burnt offerings to your peace offerings and eat their meat. So that's sarcastically telling them that. Yeah. Within Rabin, a lot of examples. But Derech Ha'atel Levakesh Menucha V'lomar Yishon Ma'at Ve'esnamne Ma'at. It's the way of the Atel to seek rest and to say, oh, I'll sleep a little bit, I'll doze a little bit. V'yadua miderech mishkach halayla shebetchila yishan ha'adam sheina keva. Oh, so that's interesting. So he's going to put it in sleep cycle terms. It's known from the way that you sleep at night that at the beginning, a person sleeps a heavier sleep.
Yeah, non-REM sleep.
Yeah. The achar hashena hagadola hu yashin shena kala. Or tamid v'choter lishon sirugin. And then after the big sleep, not death, then he sleeps with a light sleep and wakes up perpetually and sleeps like in spurts. V'hashena hahi tikarin tenuma. That's called tenuma, where you're like restless sleep, I guess. So in the morning when he wakes up completely, he wrestles with himself in his bed. So that's different than our chibuk yadayim. I would say chibuk yadayim is like, I'm just going to close my eyes a little bit. Here he's saying you wake up and you know you got to get out of bed, but you just like hang out in bed, you know. The Amar Kamislotit Alav, he says in a mocking way about him, in order to arouse him to listen attentively to the mutter of his ear. He's weird here. Be lazy in listening to accept words of musar. What was that?
This doesn't say English.
Oh, milkabel dvarai. I guess in my psyche, then divrei shlomo is equal to musar. Yeah. V'hotzi kol hayom b'ma'at shena. Spend the entire day sleeping a little bit. Uv'ma'at tenumos v'ma'at yichli lishkav lu'noach. And in slumbering, you know, dozing off and folding your hands. Klomar shal kol yima'ed v'einecha. Everything is only just a little bit in your eyes. This is what you were saying. But when you join it all together, yavor kol hayom levatala. Then you're going to waste the whole day. Yeah.
What were you saying was that support for you?
The fact that he's telling him
Support for your
false, a false command.
Were you saying it's support for the reading of this, or support for your?
For reading of other pesukim, where other pesukim are telling you to do false things, or expressing a false view.
Like Honasher.
Yeah. Right. Or Hagosi Bim Mikasef. Did we do that one? The remove the silver from the. No. Okay, I give it away. Yeah. All right, that's a good one. Uvakim halach reishecha, and so I think it's what we said for what you said for the last part about it all adds up, but then he's adding in the thing of. Oh, so this is interesting. So what does he get by telling him as a tzivui?
Well, there is an irony there.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't want to do things that
Yeah.
he's being told to do. Like he doesn't want to do like the right thing that
Yeah.
he has to do. So like you telling him to do it, like I don't know exactly the idea, but just there is an irony of like he's trying to like be lazy and just like let himself go.
Yeah.
But you're like telling him to do that.
Yeah. So I think maybe tell me if this is what your intuition is getting at, that like he thinks he's abstaining from a decision, but you're highlighting that you are enacting a plan. You're enacting a decision. So go ahead, do that, but do it consciously as something that is a plan, which he's not telling him to actually do it consciously. He's saying like you're actually you made the decision to sleep the morning away.
Right.
Don't say that you're just avoiding making decisions. You are making a decision. It's like, there's a snappy way to say it.
Do you know the song Free Will?
No.
Okay. Well, okay. So, here's the line that if you choose not to decide, then you still have made a choice.
Yeah, that's the type of snappy thing I was looking for. Yeah. Like I guess I was saying I'm mixing two things together. I think that like it reminds me of like Rebbe's statement / Mortimer Adler's statement that everyone is a philosopher. No one does not philosophize. It's just are you philosophizing intelligently and consciously, or are you following an unconscious, unintelligent philosophy?
Was Rebbe into more?
I don't think so. I don't. I've never actually asked that question,
Okay.
but yeah. But the other thing it reminds me of is like if a person, you can't not behave. Everyone is behaving at all times, and like not doing actions is a behavior, but it's a behavior, So I think the lazy person views himself as abstaining from behavior or activity, but that itself is a behavior and an activity. I am choosing to sleep and to fold my hands and all that other stuff, Yeah. And I think that's another like maneuver of the psyche is like, I'm sitting this one out. You can't do that with reality. You can't sit out reality. Like you're making decision within reality, even though you feel like you're sitting out, And the timelessness just like contributes to that illusion, Yeah. Okay. Uvatim halach reishachad klomar v'yikracha zeh sheyagiacha haresh v'hakalon. So this will happen to you that you will, poverty and shame will come to you. V'yavucha pitom kimhalak. It'll come to you suddenly like a traveler. Kimhalak halo chazak shemagia maher l'makom chafto, like a fast walker. V'yish mefarshim kimahalech oreach habal adam pitom. Okay. Oh, that's what I think I said. It was like a guess, like a traveler who like lodges. Pifarish Mizuyan Habal Hilachem, Shemirutato Kala. Like I don't know what the use of the word parash here is, but like an armed person coming to wage war. This is like we're used to being in America where you can't quarter soldiers in people's homes. Like I guess it was a very common experience then. Like armies passing by, they just show up and like we need to quarter here and like that's it, So like out of nowhere,
Right. Also, an example for the first one. In my whatever. One of my classes, we're reading this like poem about this like these like this like Arab like family in the desert, and like this like person they're like really poor, they don't have any money, and like this person comes to like stay by them, and they kind of like have to feed the person, and like there's just massive pressure to like, do a
that's interesting. So that I have no idea what elements of that were culturally relevant here, but similar emotion on the part of the person who is confronted with the unexpected guest, even if it's stemming from different cultural values. Yish lomar me'at shenos sibui gamor. So you can say that me'at shenos is a real tiboy. Lomar me'at b'shena uva'atzla v'harbe b'teura uva'charitus. A little bit in sleep and in laziness, and a lot in waking up and diligence. That means in rest. Or and for constantly striving and and like making yourself toil. So then if poverty comes to you by way of chance, or because of your expenditures, it will not dwell with you. Because your diligence will save you from it with God's help. But it'll come like a traveler. As it comes, it'll go. Or like an armed man who's afraid from his opponent and he flees from him quickly. Okay, so that's a different interpretation. It's an assurance that if you make your sleep small and odd, so then when poverty comes through no fault of your own, or even through fault of your own, you'll be able to recover quickly. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The first one seems more probable based on the flow of the pesukim. That it's still like chastising a lazy person. So there are those who explain that, and he will come, or he came as he will come. The machzorka is attached to the beginning, or reshaka. ובהרבה בהתעורר בחריתות, ואז אם יבוא כמהלך, רק לומר פתאום רישך על מחזורך, אתה תהיה איש מגן להסתר מהם. So it's basically taking two elements. If your poverty comes like a traveler, then you'll be like an ish magain, and you'll shield yourself against it. All right, so there's different ways to read it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's such a crazy, but from the flow of it could be like we were praising the ant before, saying like.
Oh, that's true. That does work. That does fit in. Yeah, that's true. So maybe he meant the immediate pesukim of the ad matai atel.
All right.
Because that would seem to indicate that he's continuing to criticize the atel. Yeah. I want to read through this Derech Nistar on my own before tomorrow and see if we should do it, because I think it's going to apply to chochmah, and that would probably be useful for us. But I want to stop today because, hold on, let me stop today.